Geeks, nerds, gamers, and trolls, it is that time once again for a first look brought to you by MMOBomb.com, the place to go for all your free-to-play gaming news and information. I am always the Noob Fridge, Troy Blackburn, and today we're going to be looking at a free-to-play CCG called Fable Fortune. And yes, for some reason I almost called that Fable Legends, but this is Fable Fortune. It is a free-to-play CCG now available on Steam, free-to-play, as of February 21st. It has been buy to play. Now you can get started, download it absolutely for free over on Steam if you want to give it a try. And let's just go ahead and make the most obvious comparisons again here. This is a Hearthstone alternative. If you're looking for something like Hearthstone but not quite Hearthstone, this could be something that you could be interested in. So we're going to take a look, spend the next few minutes playing through a game. I am playing against another person here. A friend of mine, actually, I invited to play the game because it was like 3 in the morning when I recorded this, and I'm not sure what the population was of the game, so I invited a buddy in who was awake too, and was like, screw it, let's try this game out. So we tried a few different game modes, and we're going to watch this game, and I'll talk about it a little bit while I also talk about some of the other game modes we tried and kind of some of the things that make this game a little special. So you may have noticed at the beginning of the game, and if not, we'll get a chance to do it again, but I got to choose a quest right at the very beginning. And so what I'm going to do is fulfill that quest. I've got to play 3 creatures who have, I believe, higher strength than health, I think is what it was. But once I complete that quest, I'm going to choose whether I want to be good or evil. And what that's going to do, that's going to affect my character's ability. I'm playing Crimson with just a standard Crimson deck that just default that started with the game. I haven't built any decks or anything, and neither has the guy I'm playing against. So I'm going to choose between good versus evil. And that's going to affect not only my character's ability, but also the ability of some of my cards. Not all of them, but some of my cards will have their abilities affected depending on which alignment I choose. There you can see I've played a creature that has higher strength than health. So I've completed 1 of 3. Down the bottom left, the little green banner. It's keeping track of my quest and how close I am to completing it. And I believe the first go round, I'm going to choose evil, because what that does for Crimson is that's going to give her some life steal. So anytime I do damage to a unit or to my opponent, I'm going to get some health back as well as doing some damage to that unit or to my opponent. And my thought going into that's going to be, I'm going to start out with a little bit of life steal and try to whittle my opponent down while keeping my health up. And that's going to give me an opportunity to pick up another quest after I complete this one. And that's going to let me go to the good alignment. And what that does is actually, if I attack my opponent directly, I'll do 2 straight damage, but I don't get any life steal off of it. So the idea here is to keep my health high, try to whittle him down, and then be able to switch off and start doing double the damage to him. And not so much, I'm using my units to sort of counter his units. In the meanwhile, I'm trying to go through that strategy of keep my health up, get to a point where I can start doing 2 damage to him every time, and just let my units offset his and let me directly attack him as much as possible. So we'll see how that goes as the game goes on. As you can see in Fable Fortune, we use gold in order to cast cards and abilities instead of mana. So you can see the treasure chest down there right beside my green banner is keeping up with how much gold I have left. And there that unit was going to die whether I attacked or got attacked. So I decided just to wipe the board because no matter what, he had a unit that could take that guy out. So instead of letting him have a 2-unit advantage and still losing my guy anyway, I decided to just wipe the board and continue on with my letting my units sort of counteract his units as we go along. You've also seen me use the ability a couple times, and I'm pretty sure he has as well. Right beside my character ability up there that costs 2 gold, you can see a little shield in those 2 little runes that are laying to the right of my character. The little shield is the guard ability, so for 1 gold, I can put any unit I have out there into guard, and what that means is that if he's going to attack me with his units, he has to attack that unit first, and he can't attack me directly or any other unit until that unit has been destroyed or he's used all his units to attack. And there's been a couple instances that I've used, especially in the co-op game mode we'll talk about here in just a second, where I've had units out there where if I'm defending against like low attack units, when they come in and do damage, there's not enough damage to destroy me. So the first unit that I guarded, like he could heal up as soon as he destroyed a unit. So it was a great counter to guard on that unit against low attack units because the co-op couldn't get through to us. Unfortunately, that co-op is a tough bastard, and we played it twice. The first time we got face rolled. The second time we did a little better, but we just ran out of cards, and the co-op boss, it was 2 of us against 1 AI co-op boss, And that guy just summons just like units for just days. And so we just ran out of cards. And the second time around, ended up losing just because we ran out of cards. So the co-op, the 2v1 versus the AI, that was a tough challenge. And it's a special thing that looks like it resets to be something a little different every few days. So that was interesting. That was something we tried out at first and got our butts kicked. And we're like, screw it, let's just beat up on each other instead. So there you can see it's still pretty close, so I decided to stick with the evil alignment for at least one more go. Now what's going to happen here in a few minutes, and we'll talk about it when we get there, is a little feature of the game that I'm not particularly fond of, but we'll get to that. But I'm going to go ahead and do another quest here. And let's see, I think I picked the spend 32 gold in this one because we're already up to, I believe, 8 gold on my turn. It maxes out at 10 gold per turn, and of course all the gold replenishes every time. So yeah, I went ahead and chose the spend gold one because we're already spending, you know, almost the max gold every turn, so it's not going to take but just a few turns to get that gold spent. And as soon as that completes, that's going to let me rechoose my alignment again, and that's where I get into a bit of trouble because of something the UI does, but we'll talk about that more when we get there. Right here you can see what's going to be the turning point in the game. My opponent made a mistake. He put a unit out and didn't have enough gold to put it in the guard. So now I've got this unit with 8 attack that I can just skip plumb over his units and just attack him directly. So then I get to put that guy in guard. So that's an important thing to make sure every time is, you know, if you're going to want something in guard, you got to save that gold for it. Make sure you got that 1 gold left over at least. So you can put that in guard so you can't get directly attacked, especially with me already having it, I believe it came out as a 7 attack unit, and I buffed it up to an 8 attack unit. And that one swipe was sort of the turning point in the game that really started taking things in my favor. And here again, here's kind of the initial strategy I was going for. Whittle him down, keep my health relatively high, get some lifesteal back up like I'll do here in a minute, and then switch over to the good alignment and start doing more direct damage, because now he made that mistake once. He's probably going to remember to save enough gold to put guys in guard every time. So my direct attacks are going to really start working to my advantage here. As you can see, as the game goes on, I've been trying to mouse over my cards as much as possible, even when it's not my turn, so you guys can see some of the units that I'm getting. And of course, every time he plays a unit, you can see the card flip over to show what his units are. You can also, I don't remember if I do it in this game a whole lot, because I was more concerned about doing my direct attacks and just sort of letting my units counter his, but I can also mouse over his units, and it'll tell me what the unit can do, and also any sort of other actives that it has on it. If it's stunned, if it has any special bonuses, anything like that. If you just mouse over his unit, a little toolbar will pop up and just let you see whatever's going on with that unit. So keep that in mind, especially if you're more worried about your units against their units. You can look and see the effects that are on different units. Now, along with the co-op mode that we had played the game before this, there's also a story mode where you can go in and it's you versus an AI opponent, and it's increasing difficulty, and it tells a story as you go along, and you also can gain silver and rewards along the way. And the silver, I guess it's called silver, it may be called something else, but they're little silver coins, and that's your in-game currency, and you can use those to unlock a pack of cards at a time. Of course, cards come in RNG packs. So buy at your discretion. You can buy them with in-game currency. I believe you can buy a pack at a time for 1,000 of those silver coins, or you can buy multiple packs for real in-game currency. There's also a starter pack you can pick up for, I believe it's $12.99, and it's got like 20 card packs, plus a couple of other items. It's a really good deal compared to just buying packs straight. But once this game is over, we'll definitely go into the menu and take a look at some of that, as well as the card deck building, the crafting, stuff like that. And we'll flip through a couple of other game modes. But yeah, the story game mode, I always like to see that in games like this. It's a nice way to sort of grind out some currency and sort of get your deck started if you're going to want to build custom decks, which is a big part of anyone who likes these types of games. And that's something they really enjoy doing. As of right now, there are 6 different characters that you can play as. You can see 2 of them here. I'm Crimson, he's whoever that is. Fable characters from the Fable universe. Some of you guys might recognize some of these. For me, not so much. That's not a universe that I've ever been like super deep into, but there's 6 characters right now. They all have sort of unique character abilities. Then of course you can customize your deck to work around that and what that character does, and they all do the same thing. They all have that good evil alignment. You choose your quest, complete your quest, then you can choose good or evil. It changes sort of the base of what your character's ability does, and also what some of your units do. Now keep in mind there again, it's not all the units in your hand, it's just some of them that you draw it will change what they do depending on whether you choose good or evil. And it's not like huge game-changing things, it's just slight variations. Like if something gave a +2 to strength, if you choose one alignment or another, it might instead give +1 to strength and +1 to health. So it's just little changes like that as you choose your alignment, and then you do that by completing the quests. As you can see, most of his game style has been revolving around healing his units up and a lot of swapping like his health and his strength with each other, and really buffing his units and sort of using those to get a lot of damage on me. Unfortunately, he's missed several opportunities to attack me directly when he could have, and he's been sort of playing into my strategy of just sort of countering his units by attacking mine, even when he doesn't necessarily have to. So, I mean, definitely mistakes being made on both sides. This is our first few. This is like the third game we'd ever played of this. So, yeah, cut him some slack. It does make me look good, though. So, you know, I'll never be sad about that. And there you just saw the sort of UI thing that I'm not a big fan of right now. As you can see, I placed that unit and it completed my quest, but the choice to select my alignment didn't immediately pop up. So as I went to drag my guard onto that unit, then the alignment popped up. The plan was at this point to switch over to good alignment, do double the damage directly, and finish him off a lot faster. But that freaking UI popped up right in the middle of me trying to guard my unit, and it wouldn't let me guard my unit. You could see me, I just tried to slide my mouse off to the side and let go of it, just hoping that it wouldn't make the selection because it wasn't changing between back and forth cards as I was dragging my mouse around. And what it did instead is it just chose the evil alignment for me, since I tried to take my mouse off to the right, I guess, in order to just get off of it and not make the selection. It chose for me, so the game goes a little longer than it had to because of that little hiccup, but hopefully that's just something silly that can be fixed later. Like I said, it should have either popped up immediately or not popped up while I was dragging my guard onto a unit, and then not really let me click to choose which alignment I wanted to go with. It sort of countered the strategy I was trying to do, but at this point I'm so far ahead, all it's really doing is extending the game, to be honest. Now, so far overall, I haven't seen any problems, any hiccups between myself or the guy I'm playing with. Neither one of us had any problems with the game running on our systems. We have vastly different systems. I have a fairly high-end PC. He has a really good middle-of-the-road PC. Neither one of us experienced any sort of issues with optimization. Game seemed to run just fine. Everything was smooth. Servers seemed to be working fine. So the only issue I was having was out in the main menu, and I'm not sure once we go to the main menu whether that footage shows any of it or not, but there were some weird load times between just swapping around in the main menu, like to the deck opening, and then over to the purchasing cards, and then over to the card builder. There's some really weird occasional long loads for some of those, and I'm not sure what that was or what was causing that, but I didn't get it every time, but just sometimes in between swapping those menus I got really long load times, which seemed weird because the game didn't switch totally off of that menu. It just sort of went into a little mini sub menu. So other than that, the game has run well. Everything's been going good. Download was fine. The game launched first time with no problems whatsoever, so everything's been smooth on that. The one thing I will say, there is audio controls. I do have a tendency to turn audio down when I'm playing and especially when I'm recording. That way I don't have to crank my mic up to the max and just peak it out every time I speak. But there was no volume control whatsoever at the end here where we get the victory screen. There's like a separate little emote that plays and music and stuff, and that gets, I'll warn you ahead of time, headphone users, it gets loud. And I had no control over that whatsoever. Before this, I went in and tried to look for it after we played some other games. After this, I went in and looked. There's only 2 audio sliders, one for music and one for sound effects. That sound effect did not affect that victory screen at all that sound when it got really loud. So I apologize ahead of time. You might want to go ahead and turn this down a little bit, pull your headphones out. I'll try to turn the volume down a little bit when we get to that point in the editor here. But yeah, it gets loud and there's no separate control over that. So other than you know, when I tried to choose, needed to choose my alignment, I was trying to guard my unit. I didn't like the way that popped up, and then I wasn't really able to select the alignment that I wanted. And then that audio issue, those are the only 2 little quirks I have with the game, other than the fact that just personally, I'm just not a CCG guy. This is just not my type of game. But as far as having fun, we had fun sitting here the other night playing this game together. In the co-op version, in the story mode, and then going up against each other a few times. So, you know, we had a good time. It runs well, it plays well, everything's smooth. It's easy to understand, easy to get into. There's nothing overly complicated about it. I like the guard that you can do on certain units. The characters' abilities, each one has a pretty unique feel as far as gameplay is concerned. So overall, you know, if you're not playing Hearthstone, but you think you might like a game like this is definitely worth checking out. And that's coming from a guy who doesn't particularly care for CCGs at all. And as we go to wrap up this round here, should complete this quest right here, and then actually I'll be able to, you'll see me wait. I think I realized right about now that I'm just one away from completing this quest, be able to choose the good alignment and just finishing him off. So I'll play that guy to complete it. You're going to see me wait for the stupid alignment to pop up. I get to choose the one I want, and then I just finish him off with my character's ability. And boom, there's a victory. It's going to get loud here. I apologize. But as we finish this game up, we're going to jump in here in just a second and take a look at some of the main menu, some of the crafting, character building. There you can see some of the game modes available, and we'll look at that one more time before we end. But back out in the main menu, we're going to roam around here. We're going to go over and we're going to start out looking at the store. And this is where you're going to buy all your packs. All your RNG happens right here. Them loot boxes, yo, they are nice and plentiful. You can buy one pack for 1,000 silver. That's the in-game currency. You can see me showing you out of the 3 or 4 games I've played. I've got 289. Then you can buy different numbers of packs for different amounts of money. And as we go over to the starter bundle, you'll see like there's 15 packs for 20 bucks. But for $12.99, you'll get 20 card packs and then 2 special cards. That boot card is a card that I was getting automatically in my deck every time, but I guess that's a special version of it. I don't know. I don't know what the point of that one is, but whatever. So next thing we'll do, we'll jump over and take a look at the deck builder. As you would expect, you can sort by different types of cards. So if you're looking for something particular, you can just quick jump to it and kind of sort through what type of card it is. Now, the first time I looked through these, talking about loading issues, a couple of those cards wouldn't load, but all I do was exit back out and back in, and they loaded right up. And then you can see the card crafting. You can dismantle cards and get crafting materials for them, and you can see you can go back in and look at different cards you want to craft. Special materials, which obviously I have none of at this point. And then you've got the ink down there at the bottom that you can use to craft cards as well. So there's your deck building and your card crafting, just like you would expect. We'll open a few packs as we close this out, because I know everybody loves watching RNG packs open. I have no idea if any of these are good or not. I was just saving my packs. I did get these just by loading into the game. I had nothing special. I had no code. I bought no starter pack. I just started with, I believe I started with 10 packs, and then I'd accumulated some more packs just by playing the game, doing some of the modes and stuff. So there you go. There's some card openings for you. So going forward, it looks like everything's in place. There's a few little things I would like to see improved, but you know, at the end of the day, it's the game seems to be in a good place. It's just a matter of population at this point. Does it pick up a population to play? It is free to play on Steam, so it's got that going for it. If you're interested in checking it out, you can do so absolutely for free. As always, don't forget to head over to MMOBomb.com for all your free-to-play news and information, and check out the free-to-play cast that goes live every Friday, talking about all the latest news from the free-to-play world. As always, I have been the New Fridge, Troy Blackburn. Thank you so much for checking out this first look of Fable Fortune. Not my thing, but you know, hey, I know lots of people like these CCGs, so there's that co-op in the middle. That thing is tough, man. If you jump into the game and you beat that, let me know in the comments below that you took that thing out and how many tries it took you, because that thing kicked our asses. Anyways, I'm going to call this first look done for Fable Fortune for MMOBomb.com. I am the Noob Fridge. I am now out.